Antarctica, Russian base Vostok. These letters are in the Cyrillic alphabet, Vostok. 78 degrees latitude south and 106 degrees longitude east. This base exists. I'm going to make more videos about that in the future if you give me lots of likes to this video. Now, let's search for this on Google, right? Because we are common mortals in this super awesome information of age and internet. So I go to Google Maps and I just search for this for exactly the same latitude and longitude southeast, and it gives me that point there in Antarctica. So this is what shows on Google Maps, the world map. This has to be the reality of the real world, right? And I zoom in that place and there's nothing. It says Vostok Station, of course. It's just blank, nothing else. And I suppose this is the map of the world. You know, that's it. We are super intelligent. We are the most amazing humanity in history. So then I tell myself, wait a minute, there has to be something else, something that must be better than this, right? So let's search for these coordinates on the super amazing, awesome Vibes of Cosmos. The moon is the map of the Earth. Just give me a sec. It's almost 200 megabytes there. So as you all know, the moon shows the map of the Earth. It's the inverted mirror. Vibes of Cosmos Extended Craters Guide Map. The dark blue are continents. The light blue are the oceans and the water and the craters on the bottom of the oceans. So this circle here is the Antarctica Treaty, which is political military enforced in 1961. This here is Africa, and this is Asia, and of course Russia is here. This is Siberia and Russia. So let's go towards the east, right, in the edges of the Antarctica Treaty. Stay with me on this. Russia is here with Siberia. East Asia. You have here Japan. Now, you have here Lemuria. Stay with me. Let's approach from East Lemuria. Let's approach the edges of Antarctica. Look at this. Give me a second. Bam. Vostok Station. Near Soyuz Station, Mimi Station, and here it's Zugcheli Station and McMurdo Station. Vostok Station, Antarctica. Look at this. Look at where the Antarctica Treaty, this is the Antarctica Treaty line. Exactly at the edges. Let's go like this. So stay with me on this. And this is like the island at the edges of the world, where this is the limit of the sun. I'm going to show you pictures. It's super frozen there. It's ice. The sun is on the blue sky, but it's super ice and cold. And these are the limits. And then, of course, here on this side, you have the area of Mercury, which acts like a sun, because Mercury is not a planet like sphere CGI. And we have the edge of our sun, where we live, and the edge of Mercury. And in between those edges is where the suns are less powerful. That's why we have the icy areas. So do you understand? Of course, Russia will go east. As a sovereign nation, it will go east because here it's, they could have gone here, for example, but it makes more sense for Russia to just exit Siberia. I don't know if Lemuria is under the water or it's above the water, but there's nothing in a straight line with ships and airplanes to Lemuria. And of course, from Russia, you go in a straight line, exactly in a straight line, even across the sea. And you get to this area here, Vostok, which is south of New Zealand. Well, west if you look at Vostok Station. This is Russia here, Siberia, and this is Vostok Station. At the edges of the Antarctica Treaty, and this is like, everything is Antarctica, so everything on the borders, on the edges of the Antarctica Circle is considered Antarctica, so this is Antarctica as well. Atlantis would be Antarctica as well. All this is Antarctica. From this here in South America, as you can see, this is South America, so all these places here are Antarctica. There's even like stations here on the new Land of Fire. But now it makes sense. Do you understand now what's the purpose of this video? It's to show that Vibes of Cosmos is not fantasy. Vibes of Cosmos shows the reality of the real world. Look at Vostok Station along with the other two Russian stations at the very edges of the Antarctica Treaty Circle. And it makes sense why it's so cold. It's the edges of the sun of this world and the edges of Mercury. And at the edges at the borders where the sun is less powerful, that's where you have the icy bits, the frozen areas, the freezing cold and snow and ice. And then you have good weather again. And of course, there's like other stations here. There's plenty of other like Dome and Sayoa, but I wanted to show you the Vostok Station. So again, we get nothing from the Mercator map from the Google Maps. It's just what they show us. At least they show us Antarctica at the end on the edges, but this doesn't give us any more clues, anything else. And Vostok exists. These are photos and videos by the Russian expeditions, which are financed by Russian money, by the Russian government, by the Russian political and military power, and they have everything there. I'm going to show you pictures with, if you want to see, with the airplanes and the ships and the icebreakers and the Vostok station in the middle of nowhere and ice. And they even have like this painted with the latitude south and longitude east. The Russians are a bit more expressive in the sense that in Russia, they even have these documentaries only in Russian for the Russian population. So the Russians as citizens, they know, at least they see the pictures with ice and where it is. And again, the moon shows the map of the world. That's why the face of the moon never changes. It's always the same face. And at least I wanted you to understand that this is not just your typical fantasy map that you find online because somebody gets bored and they generate maps using CGI and AI and fantasy writing and artists. No, these are, if you go look at this, from New Zealand west, and Lemuria, it's a bunch of archipelago here and islands, a bunch of them, all these islands in the ocean. And at the very edges, look at this. There's nothing else here. If you go beyond, we don't even know if you can go beyond, there's a bunch of other islands here. And then you have the huge continent of East Ireland. And of course, there's Zealandia here. So it makes sense for the Russians and the Americans because the Russians are here and the Americans are here. So, do you understand now? And of course, there's other stations as well. But in this case, I want to show you the Vostok station, which people don't even speak about. And the Vostok station exists and it's operative and it has been refurbished and lots of money has been put there in there. So why do the Russians do it? So it's just so fascinating when up until this point, the only thing we had were these typical maps, which are an insult to human intelligence in many ways. And now at least we have... and then when you zoom in, you just get nothing. At least we get the pinpoint of the location, but we have nothing. And then you go to the map of the world. The dark gray are the continents, the firm land. The white are the oceans, the water. And here Vibes of Cosmos has done this for the extended craters guide map. So we understand the difference between firm land and oceans and water. And all the craters are on the bottom of the oceans. And these are like, this is the place where we live in the known world. And the Antarctica Treaty is everything which is on the edges. There's plenty of other stations. Look at even like a station here on the continent of Pearland. There was like one station here. The Pleiades is actually an archipelago of islands from Atlantis, in south of Atlantis. I'm not even surprised if there would be like giant white people with blue eyes and blonde hair. And again, from Lemuria, so from Russia, it makes sense for Russia to go, from the known world, they just go and explore. Because everything is Russia. This is the sovereign nation of Russia. And they just go and explore. And they get to these islands here. And of course, they claim the last big island on the edges of Antarctica. Fascinating, isn't it? Vostok Station. Impressive. Of course, you have Mini and Soyuz. It never gets old. This is absolutely astonishing and marvelous things to understand. And everything is, as you can see, geography, geopolitics, military, and especially geography. Vostok Station. Lots of information from the Russians. See you in the next video.